Hello, Music Multiverse listeners, and welcome to Beyond Your Radio's Unknown Sundays. It's time to talk about a band, an artist, a sound, or something relatively unknown in the music multiverse to some of the masses that might pique an interest in your audio curiosity. Please remember that this is an extension of our article section, so you can find it at beyondyourradio.com if you want the full details. It's written there by me. Today, it's all about homemade instruments and future of them in the music multiverse. You know, there are plenty of odd instruments out there since the beginning of music time. You can go back and talk about even the inventions, even Benjamin Franklin's harmonica, which has nothing to do with the harmonica, only named it due to the Italian harmonica name. But it's just like a glass thing played with foot pedal electronic at that point. Bo Diddley's cigar box was his and his alone until he shared it with the blues world. And of course, Eddie Van Halen certainly didn't invent the chainsaw when he brought it in for Pound Cake, an unlawful carnal knowledge. But there's the imaginary hand utilization of the theremin, which I've seen utilized in live shows by Jeff Martin of the Tea Party. And that was created back in the 1920s by a Russian. It was used in early soundtracks due to, in large part, that eerie sound that it would get as it was produced. I'm certainly not at liberty to say that every instrument gets its day in the music multiverse, son, and goes on a lifelong acclaim, but I would like to draw your attention to some of those that might be unknown in this episode. So hang in there. So welcome to Odd Instruments on Unknown Sundays 2024. Uniqueness in the music multiverse is a fickle beast. Back during the English invasion, uniqueness was a group sound that everyone wanted to copy and make their own. And of course, everybody wanted that next Jimi Hendrix, which got emulated. And of course, there's those sounds of the 80s where everybody wanted that MTV popularity. So you had to have a video. All of this was demand versus supply. The industry believing it would make the demand by supplying that which would make or deem it to be popular. Uniqueness was kind of a risky thing and could make a challenging career out of uniqueness. But a few bucked that system. So here's a few of the early instrument makers that didn't follow those routes. And then I'll get into some that are right now even current today. So let's talk about the daxophone, an instrument that could be bowed, plucked, or give off tones through vibrations that are sent in an area that was called the tongue down into the box, much like that which you'd have as a ruler being plucked at the end of a table. So the sound is amplified by microphone attachments that was wood, so strictly craftsmanship kind of thing, which is kind of how instruments were done as far back as anyone can recall, and still to this day. So this was developed in 1980 by Hans Reichel, a fairly unique improvisational guitarist and inventor who associated he liked fucking with all things, for a better term. Check out the album Lower Lurum for a full melding of guitar and daxophone from 1995. But also realize that it's being used also in the multiverse right now by one Tricks Point Never in the music development of their sound. Oh, I shouldn't say there, it's a he. Lead instrument in conducting the soundtrack for the horror film Smile, which came out in 2022. So there's the daxophone from the 19s coming up to now. So the next up is the didgeridoo. I know, the didgeridoo. A wind instrument played with vibrating tones. Well, a vibrating drone, I would say, a continuous vibrating drone, while using a special breathing technique called circular breathing that is Aboriginal and designed by Australia. The instrument gets a lot more modern display despite the hiding in the woods development of it that it started as. So, yes, it does have that appearance of a very large Cheech and Chong bong, but that droning is much more enhanced and better. So check out the Dreaming from Kate Bush, because that utilized it. And of course, Midnight Oil utilized it in the Bull Roarer from their album, and an EDM band called Hallucination. And the album, which was their prior name, called A Tribe Called Red. That was album for the day today. So check that out. It's one of those albums you need to hear before you die, because it kind of takes that Aboriginal and brings it to North American Indian type of music, and the powwow drums added as well. It's really cool. So then there's Neil Young and Pat Metheny. There's a little bit more modern we're getting to, right? So they were both gifted personalized guitars. Well, Neil's was a little bit personalized in the fact that it was made by Daniel Lanois. Daniel Lanois loved the electric and acoustic side, and he'd been working on this, and particularly probably for Neil because of Neil's feedback and distortion levels, and allowing him as a solo artist to play both acoustic and electric. Probably even drop even that being the case, he probably could do the bass line in the song as well. So that was particular to the album Lanois, which Daniel Lanois produced. But then there's Pat Metheny, whose guitar actually has a name. It was gifted to him, which was called the Picasso. What a strange multi-layered guitar. Surprising looking, to be honest with you. And it looks dynamically unique, which shouldn't surprise anyone considering the engineering-like mindset of the maestro behind the instrument, although he did not make it. So that comes up, and I have seen him play that live, which is tremendous. Then there's the Game Lesti. Built by Bjork, of course. Why not, right? The Icelandic songstress of the mathematical realms of distinctive coolness made this from two prior existing strange instruments. One was the ancient Indonesian gamelan, Gamelan, which is an ensemble-tuned bronze percussion instrument, and the celeste, a tiny piano featuring small steel bars. This is featured on the album Biophilia, and certainly suits her rare musicianship, vocal, and overall eclectic entrapment. It's raining out. That one guy, we finally get to the finality of this and where this came from. Now, that one guy I saw open for Buckethead, and he plays an instrument which actually has no name, but they seem to call it the magic pipe. So Mr. Mike Silverman actually, it's a one-man show through this incredibly odd tubular and stringed and percussive instrument that he can play everything all at once. I can't explain it. And I did look on the internet to see if he had done so. So I gave a link in the description below, so you can check it out. It is one-of-a-kind musicianship. There's a lot more in the music multiverse and plenty more to come over time. The total emergence of AI is not only a disrupting force, but a potentially nurturing one, just like that when the computer started to come into the industry back with Trent Reznor and other people. But one should always realize and keep one thing clear, that it can't think on its own. It has to come from somewhere and somebody. It's preconceived or pre-programmed knowledge to act upon, which means, so the ability to play an instrument and develop sound comes from the creative process or of the creative minds of the past or the present. It can be the recent past, or it can be as far back as the Aboriginals who built what we were just talking about today, or as far back as Broken Branch on a rock and calling it, well, maybe they called it a drum. Who knows? Albums in my collection from this unknown Sunday. I do have For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge from Van Halen in 1991. Songs in a Key of Biatch, which is that one guy's 2000 album, as well as his The Moon is Disgusting from 2007. Lanois by Neil Young, which was produced by Daniel Lanois, 2010. And Bjork's Biophilia, 2011. I mean, did you know some of these? What was your impression? Leave us a comment or two. Give us your crazy instruments that you love to listen to and hear. There's certainly a plethora of them out there. Like if you feel we're worthy. Please, as always, subscribe to the channel. We're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, of course. And we'll be seeing you very soon. Join us. As always, go beyond your radio with us, a real music appreciation channel. Thanks for watching and happy listening.